Hi students, hope you all are doing good. So by now we have completed the board syllabus of this chapter, electric charge and fields, and today we will do some entrance concepts related to Gauss law. Okay, so we have found last class using Gauss law what is the electric field due to shell of charge. So if I give you a shell of charge, shell means hollow sphere, then if the charge is uniformly distributed and the total charge is capital Q, then at a distance r from the center, okay, not from the surface, from the center, electric field formula was Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. And on the surface, if I ask, on the surface, then what will happen? If this point is not here, but suppose here if I ask, then your small r will be this much, which will be the radius of the sphere. So the formula will be Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught radius of the sphere square. Okay. Then we did for infinitely long line charge. So for infinitely long line charge at a distance small r, electric field was lambda divided by 2 pi epsilon naught r. Lambda is your linear charge density, which is charge per unit length. Then I told you for a infinite sheet of charge, electric field anyway is given by sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught. And sigma is your surface charge density. So these three derivation we did. We made a Gaussian surface, which is a closed surface. Then we calculated the net electric flux through the closed surface. Then we make it equal to charge inside the closed surface divided by epsilon naught. So make use of Gauss law to find electric field here, here and here. This is due to spherical charge shell. This is due to line charge, infinitely long line charge, and this is due to sheet of charge. If you look at the formulas, this is inversely proportional to distance square. So as you go away, electric field will decrease, okay, because R will increase. Here as your R increases, here also electric field will decrease. But here it is inversely proportional to R. Here it is inversely proportional to R square. But here it is constant. So this is a what kind of electric field? Uniform electric field. Okay. So today we will be finding electric field due to spherical charge but not shell. Okay. So in the board syllabus they have shell of charge. This time we will give you a sphere which has charge everywhere inside the sphere. Okay. So the topic is, look carefully, topic is electric field. This is only for board entrance. Okay. Electric field due to a uniformly charged sphere. Electric field due to a uniformly charged sphere. Okay. So imagine I have a sphere which has charge everywhere. Okay. And it is uniformly charged. Okay. So uniformly charged, last class also I discussed that your rho, which is charge per unit volume, that is constant. So every unit volume will have same charge. Every unit volume should have same charge. That is the meaning of density is constant. Volume charge density is constant. Okay. Now if I first ask what is the electric field outside at some point here. Okay, then what you do? You draw a Gaussian surface. Okay. Then you know electric field lines will be radially outwards like this. Area vector of any part here will be also radially outwards. So everywhere your electric field and area vector will be in same direction. So if you calculate the net flux, what will you get? E into this area. This area was how much? 4 pi Let us say from the center, this point is at a distance r. Then it will be E into 4 pi r square. This part you remember, right? How we calculated this part was net electric flux is given by this formula, E dA cos theta. Now everywhere for this surface, theta will be 0 because area vector will be perpendicular to this surface. Electric field is radially outwards because it is a spherical charge. So everywhere theta will be your 0, so cos 0 will be 1. Then since all these points are at same distance from the center, I can take E to be constant, magnitude to be constant. What is left? Integral of dA. So if you keep adding dA for this sphere, you will get area of the sphere. So this will be area of the sphere, the Gaussian sphere which we have taken here, right? So this surface, that will be how much? 4 pi r square. So you should be able to write this immediately, okay? So this is the electric flux through this Gaussian surface. According to Gauss law, that should be equal to charge inside divided by epsilon naught. Now what is the charge inside this? The charge inside this is the total charge. So let me say total charge is Q. Then I can write here E into 4 pi r square equals to total charge divided by epsilon naught. So E will be Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So if you look, this was the same formula for shell of charge also, shell of charge. So same formula we get for sphere also if it is uniformly charged. Okay, Q represents the total charge. Okay, now we are interested at a point which is inside the sphere, inside the sphere. Okay, so now we will do for part B, inside the sphere. In the case of shell, what was the electric field inside the shell? In the case of shell, inside the electric field was 0 because if you make a Gaussian surface, the charge inside was 0, remember. So if this is 0, E also has to be 0 because this area cannot be 0. This area is the area of the Gaussian surface and you can draw whichever surface you want. So this is your wish. But if charge inside is 0, then this E must be 0. So for a shell, electric field inside the shell was 0. But now I have not given you a shell, I have given you a uniformly charged sphere where there is charge everywhere. So to find inside, let's see what we have to do. Okay, so let me remove this Gaussian surface. So now I want electric field at some point. Q is the total charge. Okay, Q is the total charge and capital R is the radius. So capital R is the radius. This is capital R. Okay. So now let us say I want electric field at a point inside here, P. Okay. So how far it is from the center? Let's say smaller. Then what you have to do now? If you remember the steps which I told you, you have to construct a Gaussian surface passing through that point. So this is my Gaussian surface. Okay. This is my Gaussian surface. Since I know electric field is radially outwards, it is better to take a spherical Gaussian surface. Okay. So what will be the left side of Gauss law? In what is Gauss law? Electric flux through closed surface is equal to charge inside divided by epsilon naught. Right. Now what is the electric flux through this surface? Everywhere electric field is E and area vector and electric field are in same direction like in the previous case. So this will be your E into this area because we are integrating for Gaussian surface, right? So this area will be how much? 4 pi r square. The difference now will come here. In the case of shell, this was 0, remember. But now there will be some charge inside this. Yes or no? So how to find charge inside this? Let me write this side. So charge inside the Gaussian surface will be, since they told the sphere is uniformly charged, That means I can write the charge inside to be density into volume of the inside part, and that volume is how much? 4 by 3 pi capital. So it is small r, right? So we want to know charge inside the Gaussian surface. Remember, in Gauss law, we have to write charge inside the Gauss closed surface. The closed surface is the this red surface. So we need charge inside this. So what will I do? I will multiply density with volume. What is the volume of this sphere? 4 by 3 pi small r cube. Don't write capital R cube. Okay. So this is the charge inside. Do not do the mistake of writing capital Q, because capital Q is the total charge. Before, when the Gaussian surface was here, the charge inside the Gaussian surface was the total charge. So I wrote capital Q when the point P was outside. Meaning, when I want electric field outside, I have to make this Gaussian surface. That time, the total charge inside is capital Q. But if I want electric field inside, then I have to draw this Gaussian surface. Right? So you have to go through the previous videos very carefully, ma. Okay. So the charge inside this is clearly not the total charge, only in this much part. Now, how to find the charge in a given volume? Since density is constant, I can write density as charge divided by volume. So charge will be what? Density into volume. This definition is allowed if density is constant. Otherwise, we have to do integration. In the last video, last part, I have explained all the details. So please see carefully that video. So here, this is the charge inside. Let me substitute this charge inside here. So what will I get? Rho 4 by 3 pi r cube. So 4 pi will cancel. R square and r cube will cancel. So electric field will be rho r by 3 epsilon naught. Okay, so this is the formula for electric field at a point inside the sphere, which is at a distance small r from the center. So r is the distance of the observation point from the center of the sphere. If you notice, it is very clear that E is proportional to r because rho is constant. So very interesting. Now it is not inversely proportional, it is directly proportional. Also, if you want to write this in terms of total charge, then also we can write, because density, this is what density, charge density. So charge density means if you take total charge, you have to divide by total volume. Total volume will be 4 by 3 pi r cube. Right, so this also we can use. So if I substitute this rho here, it will be q divided by 4 by 3. Is it visible? Right. Okay. 4 by 3 pi capital R cube, and here small r 3 epsilon naught. 3 will cancel, so it will be qr divided by 4 pi r cube epsilon naught. Since the radius, total charge are constant, it is, you can say electric field is proportional to r. So whichever formula you want, you can remember, but this is easy to remember. Okay, and if you want in terms of total charge, then just replace density, charge density, by charge divided by volume. Okay, fine. So suppose they ask you in exam, how the entrance exam, how the electric field varies with distance from the center for a sphere of charge. So if there is charge everywhere inside the volume, okay, and this small r is distance from the center, and somebody says draw a graph for electric field versus distance small r, which is distance of the point where you want electric field from the center, then how it will look? This is the radius, no? This is capital R, right? Capital R is the radius of the sphere, which is this. So here your small r is capital R. So in the case of shell, if you go back and see the video, in the case of shell, how it was? It was 0 inside and suddenly it jumps and then the graph looks like this. Remember, right? Because outside it was inversely proportional to small r square. Now how will the graph look? Inside, this is the formula. So inside electric field is directly proportional to r. Directly proportional to r means it is like y proportional to x. So how will the graph be? Y equal to constant x. So this is the equation of a straight line. So since E is proportional to R inside, the graph will look like this. Okay, and then once you go outside, it will decrease like this. So this will be straight line. So here it will be straight line. Outside it will be inversely proportional to R square. So try to remember this. So inside electric field is proportional to R. Outside it is inversely proportional to R square. Inside it is directly proportional to R. Okay, directly proportional to. Outside it is inversely proportional to R square. Okay, so this is inside, this is outside. So now we will find, using Gauss law again, electric field inside a uniformly charged long cylinder. Okay, so imagine I will give you a cylinder like this, not line charge, okay, cylinder. This is the cylinder and it has been uniformly charged everywhere. Okay. So let us say rho is your volume charge density. Okay, and this radius is capital R, length is capital L. Okay, so if the total charge is capital Q, if Q represents total charge, you can write rho this time how? Total charge divided by total volume. Total volume of cylinder, how you have to write? Pi R square, height is L. No, so this is the volume of cylinder. Okay, so now I want at a point inside. So let us say this is the axis of the cylinder, and I want electric field, okay, at some point here, which is at a distance small r inside, okay, not outside. Then what will we do? We will make a Gaussian. Now you know electric field lines from symmetry knowledge. We know it will look like this. Okay, this side. So actually it will look like this, exactly like line charge. So what we will do, since electric field lines are like this everywhere, we will construct a cylindrical Gaussian surface. This is a cylindrical Gaussian surface. Okay. So now let us, since electric field lines will look like this everywhere, you can see through this part there will be no flux, because for this upper part, if you look carefully, for this upper part, area vector will be here, electric field will be here. So 90-degree will come, angle between area vector and electric field vector, and you know flux is Ea cos theta for a plane surface, and since theta is 90, cos 90 will be 0. So from here there will be no flux, from here also there will be no flux. Another easy way is, if you remember the example of door, if I give you a door and people walk parallel to the surface, then we say there is no flux of people. Similarly, these lines are parallel to this surface, right? So if this is the surface, the lines are like this, okay, radially outwards, but for a cylinder like this. So on the, all the lines are on the surface itself. It is not cutting the surface. So if it is not cutting the surface, there will be no flux. So there is no flux through this surface. There is no flux through this surface. Only flux will be through this curved surface. Okay. So and what will be the electric flux? Let us try to do it faster. So E into electric field into this area. Let us say this length is small l. This is small l. Capital L is this. Okay. So what will be the area of this curved surface? 2 pi this radius small r into L. So this is my red color represents my Gaussian surface. So this is the area of the Gaussian surface. That should be equal to charge inside divided by epsilon naught. From which law? Gauss law. So E into 2 pi R L equals to charge inside this, I can write density into volume of this part. Volume of this part will be pi small r square into this L divided by epsilon naught. right? So you can see L will cancel, pi will cancel, one R will cancel, right? So electric field will formula inside it will look rho R by rho R divided by 2 epsilon naught. So this is the formula for electric field at a distance r from the center, not from the center I should say, from the axis of the cylinder. Okay, so keep this in mind. Outside it will be same like whatever we have done in case of line charge. Okay, infinitely long line charge. Okay, so if you want to now write this in terms of total charge, then you can put this here and then see your answer yourself. Put this density here, okay, and then you can write the answer in terms of total charge also. So next we are going to apply whatever we have learned to solve one very good problem. So the problem is like this, okay. There is a spherical charge which is having some charge density rho. So rho is charge density. What kind of charge density? Volume or linear or surface? Volume, because this is a sphere. Okay. Now what they are doing? They are making a cavity here. So this much is the cavity. So the charge is only in this part. Okay, it is uniform. Okay, so this is the charge. So these lines represent charge, let's say. So here there is charge, here there is a cavity. This is the center. Let us say the center of this is C. Let me use some other color. So this C is the center of the sphere and this C dash is the center of the cavity. And I want, question is to find electric field inside the cavity. Inside the cavity at some point P, let's say here. So at P. So this is the question. Now to approach this question, we are going to make use of the formula that I just derived. If I give you a uniformly charged sphere, okay, uniformly charged sphere, then at a distance r inside here, what was the electric field? Rho r by 3 epsilon naught. And r was from center to the point. From center to the point. Okay. So this is the formula that we are going to make use. So please don't forget this formula. We have derived this today. Okay. Now, how? But see, I want electric field here due to this charge. I cannot write this formula because this is for uniformly charged sphere. This is also uniformly charged, but it is not a sphere because there is a cavity. There is a hole. Cavity means basically hole. So how to do that? Well, we will use superposition principle. What principle? Superposition principle. Meaning, I can say, look carefully, electric field due to this sphere, I can say is equal to electric field due to this with cavity plus electric field due to the charge in the cavity. Yes or no? I can say this or not, think carefully. This is the whole idea of superposition principle, right? If you have multiple charges, electric field at a point is the vector sum of electric field due to each part of the charges in the system. So electric field at any point due to this charge will be vector sum of electric field due to this plus electric field due to this. Yes or no? Right? This is like your full body. This is like your body without head, and this is your head. So if you add these two, you will get this. So if you add these two, you will get this, right? Think carefully once. Okay. So if you understood this concept, we have to find electric field at which point? Some point P. Okay, so here, let me, here. So I want electric field at some point P here. Correct? No, so it will be equal to. So let us say electric field due to this, let us calculate. Now, point P, this is your C. This is your C, right here. And P is somewhere here, right? Yes or no? This center is C and this point is your P, right? So electric field at P due to this charge, I can use this formula because this is spherical charge, this is also spherical charge. This point is inside, this point was inside, so electric field will be this formula, rho by 3 epsilon naught r. What was r? From center to P. And if I write in vector form, then I can write this r is this distance, so I can write Cp vector, okay, in vector form, because this is vector. Remember, superposition principle says you have to add electric field due to each charge vectorially, because electric field is vector quantity, so when you add you have to do vector addition. So this represents your r bar. So in vector form, if I write, I can write r bar, then r bar represents nothing but C2P vector, so I can write r C2P vector by 3 epsilon naught. Understood? No? Okay. That will be electric field due to this, which we don't know. Let us write E plus electric field due to this, right? Now P is here, center of this is here, right? This is your C dash, no? And P is somewhere here, right? P is somewhere here. This is your P. This center is C dash. So that will be how much? That is also sphere, no? So I can use this formula. And this P is inside this sphere, so I can write rho by 3 epsilon naught r. What is r? From center to the point. This center is C dash, so I can write C dash P. All of you understood? Okay. So I want this electric field at P due to this cavity, due to not cavity, sorry, due to the sphere with cavity. So I want electric field at this point inside the cavity due to this charge, which means this electric field due to this I want. So if I rearrange this, if I bring this side, I'll get rho by 3 epsilon naught Cp vector minus C dash P vector. Now this, you know that if you take a vector like this and if you flip it, it becomes negative of that vector, right? So if I do ulta, so I can write C dash P as minus P C dash vector. Okay, so C dash P is this vector. So if I ulta it, P C dash, that will be minus, no? So I hope you remember this. AB vector is minus of BA vector because they are equal and opposite. So if I include this, my final electric field will be rho by 3 epsilon naught C P dash plus P C dash. C P plus P C dash. Now look in the diagram, which is this vector. Look carefully. CP is which vector? CP is this vector. PC dash is this vector. So if I add these two vectors, which vector will I get? Think. Which vector will I get? Use triangle law. So this vector plus this vector will be this vector. Yes or no? So I can write final electric field is equals to rho by 3 epsilon naught C C dash. C dash vector. So you can see, students, this electric field, this final result, if you see, it does not depend on this P, no? See, there is no P left here. There was P here, but after adding, there is no P. So if I had taken some other point P here, some other point P here, then if I repeat the derivation, what will I get? Cp will be here, Pc dash will be here, Cp plus Pc dash will give you again Cc dash only. So no matter which point you choose inside the cavity, electric field will always be this much. So it's very interesting result. If you have a charged sphere, uniform charged sphere, and you make some cavity inside, then electric field inside the cavity will be constant. So electric field, make a note, electric field inside the cavity of a charged sphere is constant. Is constant. electric field inside the cavity of a charged sphere is constant. And what is the value of the electric field? If you want magnitude, rho by 3 epsilon naught into, what is this distance? C dash means what? From center of the sphere to center of the cavity. So this distance is distance between centers of sphere and cavity. Okay, so make sure you remember this. So it doesn't depend at which point you want. No matter which point you want, the final result will be only this distance will be important. And direction will be where? C dash vector. No, so direction will be this. So if I summarize whatever I have told you, again, you don't have to memorize this derivation, okay, but you need to remember one result, and the result is, if I give you a charged sphere, it is charged everywhere, center is here, that's it. Okay, this is a charged sphere. Okay, these lines represent charge, you think, no problem. Now if I make a cavity here, so if I make a cavity here like this, center, then electric field inside the cavity will be constant, and inside anywhere, what will be the formula for electric field? Rho by 3 epsilon naught into C dash. And what is the meaning of C dash? If the center of the cavity is here, it will be this. So this distance. Okay, so that distance, if I say is, I don't know, x, then you can write rho x by 3 epsilon naught. So that is the formula. X is here. I am showing distance between center of the sphere and center of the cavity. And what about direction of electric field? From it came in what direction? C dash vector. No, so it will be in the direction of C to C dash. So everywhere electric field will be like this. It's a very beautiful result. Try to memorize it. It is not radially outwards. It is from center of the sphere to center of the cavity. Okay, so if the cavity was somewhere here, then electric field inside the cavity will be like this. Why? From center to this. In this direction it will be inside, okay, inside the cavity. So it's a very interesting result. Without using this result, it will be very difficult to solve it, okay. Now students, we will solve some more problems based on Gauss law. Very simple, short problems, but very interesting. So please concentrate, okay. Very important for your entrance exams, and I want all of you to concentrate when I do entrance level problems, because you know your marks in MCQs which we are conducting, I want it to improve. So please concentrate, okay. So look here, again entrance only we are doing. Okay, so whenever I do entrance, I will put this symbol, okay. Whenever I do entrance, I put this symbol, hashtag. So the first problem, you only answer to me. Suppose I give you a cylinder like this, and in the middle I put a charge. I can put anywhere actually, but let's say I put a charge Q. Then you can see lines of electric field will come out of the surface, right? Yes or no? Radially outwards. So there will be some flux through the cylinder. If I ask what is that flux, can you tell me immediately? Yes, because since it is a closed cylinder, is a closed surface, I can write directly using which law? Gauss law. So the flux through this closed cylinder will be equal to charge inside. What is the charge inside they have given? Q divided by epsilon naught. Right? Very simple. No need to do integration and all. If you know the charge inside the Gaussian surface, which is the cylinder in this case, then to find flux through any closed surface, you can always make use of Gauss law. Okay. Now number 2. Suppose I give you a cylinder like this, but the charge is kept here, plus Q. Is it visible or not visible clearly? So let me write here. This is plus Q charge, which is here on one face of the one end of the cylinder. Now if I ask what is the flux through this cylinder, now you cannot say charge inside because this is not inside, this is on the surface, this part of the surface. So now you cannot make use of Gauss law. In Gauss law, students, the charge that we write on the right side. No, how do you write Gauss law? Electric flux through a closed surface is this charge divided by epsilon naught. What does this charge mean? It means that inside the closed surface. So this charge is not inside the closed surface. So how will we solve this problem? Well, the trick is you imagine yourself a identical cylinder other side. So this is your construction. Remember in geometry you have to do some construction to get the answer. So the actual question was what? To find the flux through this cylinder. To find the flux through this cylinder when a charge is not inside but on the surface. That we cannot do directly using Gauss law. So what I did, I made another identical cylinder this side. Now if you look carefully for this whole cylinder, so the flux through the whole surface. When I say whole surface, I include this also and this also. That is also closed surface, no? This one, this whole thing, right? This is also cylinder. But for that I can use Gauss law because this is in the inside. For this cylinder, for this big cylinder, this charge is inside. So I can write charge inside divided by epsilon naught. Now, since this is in the middle, if I draw electric field lines like this, then I have to draw here also like this. If I draw one like this, I have to draw one like this. If I draw one like this, I have to draw one like this. Meaning, as many lines will cut this surface, it will also cut that surface equally because this is in the middle. It is in the middle of these two cylinders. So, question was to find flux through only this cylinder. No. So, flux through only one cylinder the question was. So, this is flux through two cylinders. And since you know flux through this and this should be equal because the charge is in the middle of these two cylinders, I can write flux through this cylinder, which was the original question. That will be half of this flux, which is Q by epsilon naught. So easily we got the answer. So same way, they may ask you sometimes like this. So there is a hemisphere like this, hemisphere, and charge is kept inside. So what is the flux through this hemisphere? Easy, right? Because this is also closed surface. So if they ask flux through this closed surface, you can write Q by epsilon naught. But if this Q is kept here, and then I ask flux through this hemisphere, then you cannot directly say Q by epsilon naught because you cannot use Gauss law for this distribution because the charge is on the surface, not inside the surface. So what you will do? Yourself, you make one more hemisphere this side. One more hemisphere. Now you see this is a what kind of surface? Closed surface. So flux through this whole thing will be Q by epsilon naught. But you want flux through only this surface, and you can see this is in the middle. So as many lines will cut this surface, that many lines will cut this surface also. Correct na? Whatever lines will cut this surface will also cut this surface. Meaning the total flux through this will be divided equally between this half and that half. So the flux through this part, if you want, that will be half. Exactly like this. Okay, so this kind of trick you please remember. So let us do more problems, similar type. So suppose I say there is a charge Q and I keep a plane surface like this. Okay. So this distance is A and this side is 2A. This side is 2A. So question is to find flux through the plane surface. First of all, will there be flux through this plane surface? Will there be flux or not? Yes, because this is a charge. So you can see lines of electric field will cut this surface. Yes or no? But electric field here, here will be different because this distance is different. This distance is A, but this distance cannot be A. So it will be very difficult to use integration E dA cos theta for this problem because your E is not uniform. E here we do E here we can write 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by a square. But here your distance will be different, no? At this point. Yes or no? How to find flux through a surface? We write E A cos theta. What is A? Area. What is E? Electric field at every point on the area. If it is uniform, you can write E. But here the electric field here will be different from here. So to find this using definition, using the formula of electric flux, which is integral E dA cos theta, will be very difficult. So what trick we will use? Look here. Can we make use of Gauss law? No, we cannot because this is an open surface. It's a flat surface, open. So what we will do, look carefully. Since this is at a distance A and this side is 2A, let me do some construction. Like this. So what I have done, I have surrounded this charge with another 5 plane surfaces. One plane surface is already in the question they mentioned. Right? I constructed another 5, this side, that side. So I constructed a cube. Now for this whole cube, flux through this whole cube, can I make use of Gauss law? Yes, because this charge is inside the cube. So what is the flux through the whole cube? Q divided by epsilon naught. But question students was to find flux through only one surface here, this surface. Flux was to find through this surface. But since the charge is in the middle of this cube, as many lines will cut this surface, will also cut this surface, will also cut this surface, will also cut this surface, because the charge is in the middle. So flux through each surface, plane surface, will be same. That means I can write flux through one plane surface or one side of the cube. How much it will be? 1 by 2? No, how many faces are there? So one face, let me write. So flux through one face of this cube will be 1/6 because there are 6 faces and each face gets same flux, right? So Q divided by epsilon. So 1/6 of the total flux, 1/6 of the total flux will pass through this plane surface. So easily we did the problem, right? Okay. Let us do next problem, question number 5. So I'm doing many problems, so please try to remember and practice. Okay, keep writing, keep practicing. Fifth one, you see. So I give you a cube and I keep a charge at the center. Then if I ask what is the flux through the cube is a closed surface. So if I ask flux through this cube, you can write Q by epsilon naught. Then for one surface, for one plane surface, if they ask, what will you write? 1/6, right? 1/6 of total flux through the cube, which is Q by epsilon naught. So that we have done. But my question is, what if the charge is at the corner? So if the charge is at the corner of this cube, then how to find flux through this cube? So question is, find flux through the cube. There will be some flux because lines will cut the surface, this surface will cut. So I want to find flux through the cube if the charge is at the corner. Can I use Gauss law? No, because for using Gauss law, the surface should be closed. It is closed, but the charge is not inside. It is on the corner. So then what I do, look carefully, I will construct myself like this. Okay, one cube this side. Then I will put another cube like this. So this will become a little complicated, okay, as you keep watching like this. So how many cubes I have added? 4 cubes I have added. Yes or no? Okay. Can I apply Gauss law for this 4 cubes? No, because this is not inside, it is on this face. So now imagine one more same thing here on top. Same thing you think in the top. Okay, so that you please imagine yourself. Okay, there's no point to draw actually, you can imagine yourself. Okay. Okay. So after some time, no, it will become very complicated. Okay. Yeah. So if you see carefully, how many total number of cubes are there now? 8 cubes are there. 8 cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so one cube here, then one cube. So this one, this was your original cube, no? So I made one cube, 2, 3, 4. Then same 4 I made on the top. Same 4 I made on the top. So 4 on the bottom, 4 on the top. So total how many cubes are there? 8 cubes. Now you see carefully. For this big cube, flux through the big cube. Big cube means this whole cube, this all the cube together. Can I use Gauss law for this? Yes, because this charge is inside this cube, big cube. So I can write Q by epsilon naught. But question was to find flux through only one cube. This cube was the original cube. So flux through one cube will be how much? This charge is shared by how many cubes now? 8 cubes. Correct? No? So then as many lines will cut one cube, it will also cut the other cubes because it is in the center of this big cube. Understanding? So the flux through one cube will be 1/8 of Q by epsilon. So this is the answer for flux through each cube. Okay. Now, once we know that flux through one cube is this much, let me ask one more question. This was 5th or 6th, I forgot. Yes. Maybe it was 6th or maybe 6th. No, no, number is not a problem. Understand the concept. So again, let me give you a cube. Okay, I will keep charge at the corner. Now, I want to know flux through one face of the cube. Flux through one face. Okay, now you cannot say, oh, flux through the cube is this much. Flux through one face will be 1/6. You cannot say. Before, if you remember when I said 1/6, the charge was at the center. The charge was at the center, inside. So since the charge was at the center, if you know flux through the cube, then flux through one face, how much we wrote? 1/6 of flux through the cube. But for that, to write this charge should be at the center, so that as many lines will cut this surface, it will also cut this surface, and it will also cut this surface, it will also cut this surface. But this charge is not in the center, so you cannot say 1/6 of this. So how will you find for this question flux through one face? Now you have to ask which face very carefully. So let me name this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Now look carefully. This face, which is ADE, A, D, E, F. Okay. So for face A, D, E, F, any electric field line that you draw from this, how do you draw electric field line for a point charge? Radially outwards. So this line will not cut this line will not cut this, and any line that comes here will be on this surface only. It will be like this. Yes or no? It will be on the surface. So if this is the surface and the charge is here itself, electric field lines will go like this, radially outwards. So these lines are not cutting. and those lines which are coming this way, that will be parallel to the surface. If it is parallel to the surface, means it is like walking parallel to the door, then there is no flux. You remember, right? Okay. So this face which has the charge at the corner, this face will have no flux. So for face ADEF, flux will be 0 because no lines are cutting this surface, not cutting. Similarly, this face, which face I am talking about, ABHE, ABHE, flux will be 0. Same story, whatever I told for ADEF. Whatever I told for ADEF, you apply same for ABHE. Then this one, then I spoke about the back one, then the top one, this top one, ABCD. For this also the flux will be 0. Why? Because again the see, let me show, sorry, let me try to show you once more. So this is your cube. I have charge here. So if you draw electric field lines radially outwards, see, these two lines are not cutting this surface, and even if this line may be touching the surface, it is parallel to the surface. This line will not cut this. So this surface also will not have any electric field lines cutting, neither this way nor that way, right? These lines will come, see, it will cut this surface, but not this top surface. So basically, the surfaces which have charge in the corner, the surfaces which have charge in the corner, A, D, F, E, A, D, F, E, let me write, same thing it is. Then A, B, H, E, A, B, H, E, then top one, A, B, C, D, their flux will be 0. Then what will be the, then what are the other three faces left? This one, right? So flux through any surface here you take, B, C, H, G. So only how many faces, through how many faces do you think the lines are cutting? Only these three faces, this one, and the this one and the front one. So the BCHG or HGFE, or the front one is CDFG. So only through these faces lines are cutting. See, if I draw, see, it is cutting, no? Clearly it is cutting the surface. Are you understanding or not, students? It is cutting means if this is the surface, and you draw a line from here, you cut, no, like this. Similarly here, if you draw the line, you cut, right? And the front one of you, if you draw like this, you cut. So these are the faces which do not have charge at one corner. So through this, how much flux will pass? Each one of them, see, since it is same distance from this, and this, so it will be 1/3, not 1/6, because these three faces are useless to calculate the flux. So flux through any face which is not having charge at the corner will be 1/3 of flux through the cube, because out of the 6 faces in the cube, only 3 faces are useful to calculate the flux and 3 faces are not useful. And what was the flux through the cube? It was 1/8 of q by epsilon naught. Substitute this here. What will you get? Q by 24 epsilon naught. So 24 will come. Okay, students. So make sure you understand this problem. I hope I have explained it properly. So it's little complex, little thinking you have to do, but it is quite easy, right? Nothing is there. Okay. So basically the flux through the surface which contains the charge, flux through that surface will be 0. Okay, let me give you some more now. So let's say I have a cube like this, and I keep charge here at the center of this face, and I want flux through the cube. So this is like a cylinder, the first one which I did. So if this is on the center of one face, then what will you do to find the flux through this cube? You put yourself one more cube this side. One more cube you make like this, right? Then you can see this is inside for these two cubes. So then I can write flux through this whole cube, big cube. It's not a cube actually now. So flux through two cubes. Together if I ask, flux through two cubes, together if I ask, I can use Gauss law now because this charge is inside these two cubes. So Q by epsilon naught. And therefore flux through only one cube, which was the question, will be half. Okay, so like this, I hope you all can solve such problems which may come in your exam. Okay. So now, before I start the entrance corner, before we start solving MCQs, one more problem let me give you. Okay, if rho, which is your charge density, matlab charge per unit volume, is not constant, but it is given as some constant here, r square. And what is r? So you have a sphere, okay, whose radius is capital R, and this small r represents distance from the center. So radius of the sphere is capital R. It is positive charge everywhere. But students, it is non-uniform. How do you know it is non-uniform? If it was uniform, density would be constant, like I discussed in the previous topics. But here, your density is a function of R. And what is R? Distance from the center. So at the center, your density will be how much? At the center. At the center, your small r will be 0, so density will be 0. As you go away, your r will increase, so density will also increase. So now my question is, what is the electric field at a point outside and at a point inside? So let us start with outside. Now things will change. Okay, so please see carefully. So let us say I want electric field outside, so let us take one point P here. Okay, and this point is, let's say, at a distance something, okay, r. So what do? I make a Gaussian surface, right? Once I make a Gaussian surface, which is a spherical surface, radius is small r, I calculate the flux through the closed surface. That will be equal to how much? Since it is a spherical charge, electric field will be radially outwards, right? And therefore I can write it simply E into area of this. Area of this will be how much? 4 pi r square. Okay, this one we have discussed before also. So this is the electric flux through the Gaussian surface. This is my Gaussian surface. Then I have to find charge inside. Now charge inside means only only this charge, right? Only up to here. No, but there is no charge here, right? Only this charge. Now how to find this charge? Can I write density into volume, which is 4 by 3 pi r cube? Can I write like this? No, this is only true for constant density, constant charge density. Here density is a function. So for in previous video, last part I've explained how to find total charge when the density is a function. Function matlab variable. It is not a constant. So what you have to do, since it is a sphere you can think as made up of shells. So imagine here one shell like this, whose radius is x, thickness is dx, let's say. Or r you can write small r, no problem. Small r, this is dr. So distance from the center is r, thickness is d, as a shell, okay, like this shell. Then you calculate the charge in this shell. That will be how much? Density into volume of this shell. Volume of this shell I had told you last time, 4 pi r square dr. Okay, and then I have to integrate, because I want total charge inside this shell, no? So total charge inside this Gaussian surface I want. So the total charge inside this Gaussian surface will be this charge. So I have to add these charges starting from here till I reach here. And when I reach here, what will be my small r, capital R. So from 0 to capital. Okay, so now you cannot take this outside because it is given as a function. What is the function they have given? Density is rho naught r square 4 pi r square dr. Right, students? Okay. Then you can take constants outside. 4 pi rho naught will come outside. What is left? R square will be r power 4. Integration. Integration of r power 4 will be r power 5 by 5. Then upper limit is capital R, lower limit is 0. Sorry. Then you have to put upper limit. Upper limit is r power 5 by 5. Lower limit, if you put 0, you will get. So this will be capital R power 5 by 5. So there is a charge inside. No. So once we have found the charge inside, what will be the electric field outside now? So to find the electric field outside, we will make use of Gauss law. So Gauss law says total flux through a closed surface is equal to charge inside divided by epsilon naught. Total flux through the closed surface, how much we got? E into 4 pi r square. Okay, and total charge inside is 4 pi rho naught r power 5 by 5. 4 pi cancels, so E will be rho naught r power 5 by 5 r square. So this is the electric field outside. Okay, students? Fine. Let us now do the same thing inside. You can see it is inversely proportional to distance square from the center. R was from the center. Rho naught was the constant they gave you in the question. R is the radius of the sphere. Now let us repeat the same thing for inside. So look very carefully. So part B is for same question we want to do inside. What is the density as a function? Rho naught r square. Okay. So this is my charged sphere. Radius is capital R. I want at a point P which is inside. At a distance, let us say small r. Then what I have to do, since I want at this point, if you remember the steps which I told you in previous video, then you have to first construct a Gaussian surface. Right? So this is my Gaussian surface. Then find the flux through the Gaussian surface. So flux through this closed surface will be E into area of the sphere, which is 4 pi small r square. Okay. Now I need to find charge inside. Now charge inside will not be this whole charge. See, charge is in this given sphere. Given sphere was of what radius? Capital R. Charge is everywhere here. Like this. But I don't want total charge. When your point was outside, that time this was your Gaussian surface. So charge inside was the total charge. Now I want only charge in this much volume. In this much volume. Before I wrote density into volume of this much only. No. Remember, but because rho is not a constant, you cannot do like this. Rho is not a constant, you cannot multiply directly. To understand this, you have to see the last part of the previous video. So how to find charge of this much part? First, I will find charge of one small shell here. What will be the charge of the shell? Density into area. 4 pi x square dx, let's say. What is x? So I have taken here a shell like this, whose radius is x, thickness is dx. You can write small r dr also, but better not to, otherwise it will be confusion. No? So x is your integration variable. Then you have to integrate from here when your x is 0, not up to here. Not up to here, because we want to find charge inside the Gaussian surface. This is your Gaussian surface. Artha aita? So we need to find charge inside this Gaussian surface. So your integration variable x, which is distance from the center, that should start from 0 and it should go up to only here. Only here means it should go up to only r. So now you can put the value of rho. So rho was given as what? Rho naught r square. So put that rho naught here. What will come out? Rho naught will come out. 4 pi will come out. Integration of what will be left? Okay. You cannot write this r because this density is a function of from the center. No. So at when you are here, what is the density? Rho naught x square we have to write. Why x square we have to write? Because this r was distance from the center. For this shell, distance from the center is x. So I have to write rho naught x square. Okay. So rho naught I took out already. So this will be rho naught x square. Rho naught I took outside. 4 pi I took outside. This will be x square, here x square. So x power 4 dx from 0 to r. See, if you want to write this as r dr, no problem, but you need to understand that to find the charge inside this total charge, directly density into volume you cannot do. You have to divide it into shells. So I took one shell whose radius I don't want to say small r because small r is this, so I am saying it x. What is x? Radius of this shell. Radius matlab from where to where? From center to the shell. Yes or no? Radius means, so this x and then this thickness I wrote dx, and we know the volume of a shell 4 pi x square dx. Then when I substitute this density, I cannot write r square because in the question r was distance from the center, which is a variable, and here distance from the center for this shell is not small r, it is x. So if this is x, I have to substitute x here. So this is rho naught x square. Okay, x is distance from center for shell. If you want to write small r, please write small r, no problem. This will be small r power 4 into dr. End result will be same. So it will be 4 pi rho naught. Integration of this we did already. X power 5 by 5. Put upper limit. Small r power 5 by 5. If you see the difference, before this was capital R. Now it is small r. Because we want only the charge inside this Gaussian surface. Because we have to use Gauss law. And Gauss law contains charge inside the closed surface. Okay. So once you have done with that, you can make use of Gauss law. So Gauss law says electric flux through the closed surface E into 4 pi r square, that should be equal to charge inside 4 pi rho naught r power 5 by 5 divided by epsilon naught, right? So this is the net flux through the surface. That should be charge inside divided by epsilon naught, right students? So what will cancel? You see 4 pi will cancel, r square r5 will cancel, r cube you will get. So E will be rho naught r cube by 5 epsilon naught. So this is how electric field will vary. Okay, electric field will vary with distance from the center. This is when you are inside or outside, inside the sphere. So it is good that we have done how to find electric field even when the density is a function of distance from the center. So at home, you please try for this. Everyone, imagine there is a spherical charge whose density is given as rho naught minus alpha r. Okay. So this is the density of, this is how the density is given. Okay, this is constant, rho naught is constant, alpha is constant, and r is distance from center. So find electric field outside and inside the sphere. Take the radius of the sphere as capital R, and small r is the variable. So this problem you try to solve. You have to find electric field inside and electric field outside. I have given you a different kind of function this time. Okay, so you just have to know how to do integration. I'm sure most of you know. So please try to solve it. We will now solve entrance corner for question number 1. Okay. So question says figure shows a charge Q placed at the center of a hemisphere. So there is a hemisphere and charge Q is at the center. So this is question number 1, entrance corner 4. There is a hemisphere. So let me cut this part. So there is a hemisphere and they have kept a charge at the center of the hemisphere Q. Okay, the charge is Q. A second charge capital Q is placed at one of the points A, B, C and D. So where are those points? If you see the diagram, here is your A, here is D, here is C and here is B. So another charge capital Q can be kept here or here or here or here. Question is, in which positions or position of the second charge the flux of the electric field, matlab electric flux through the hemisphere will remain unchanged. Will remain unchanged, they are saying. So let us understand the question first. Don't get confused. Forget about the second charge. Forget about it. When this charge was there, here sitting, was there any flux through this surface? Yes or no? Yes, there was, because these lines are cutting this surface. Electric field lines are cutting this surface. So there was some flux. Now the question is, if you put another charge, where should you keep? They are asking, here or here or here or here, so that the flux through this, flux through hemisphere, through this should remain unchanged, they are saying. Whatever flux was due to this Q, same flux it should remain even after putting second charge. So pause the video and think. Hint is, when lines cut the surface, then we say there is flux. Remember, that is the hint. Okay, I hope you have tried. So imagine I will keep the charge here, Q. Then you see, if you draw lines which are cutting this, if you draw this line, is useless. No, this line will neither cut this. These lines will not cut the surface. But point charge will produce electric field radially outwards. So this point, this charge will produce electric field like this, and it will go like this, right? Whereas if you take this one, electric field will come like this and go like this. So look at this line, this electric field line. This one is first entering the surface and then it is going out of the surface. That means this line will not contribute to the flux for this surface, because it is entering also and it is coming out also. Yes or no? I don't know whether you have understood or not. So look here. Suppose you have a surface like this. Outward flux means line should only come out. But suppose I draw one line like this. Then this is coming in to this surface. It is coming in and it is again going out. So this line will not contribute to the net flux. Why? Look here. So let me make it more easy for you. Suppose I take this kind of surface. Or think of this kind of surface like this. Suppose I make this kind of surface. Okay, like this. Like this. Now, if lines come like this, then see what will happen. For this part, area vector will be here. For this part, area vector will be here. Right? Now, this is your area vector. Now, electric field line is like this. Electric field line is like this. So, if you consider this electric field and this area, they are 180 degrees. So, here flux will be negative because it is going into the surface. Here it is coming out. So, area vector and electric field are in same direction. So, here flux will be positive. So, if lines come in the surface and then go out of the same surface, then there is no contribution to the net flux, because while coming in it has a negative flux, it contributes to negative flux. While going out it produces positive flux, so again the net flux will be zero. So if you see this line, if you put charge at this point, then this line is entering and then it is leaving this surface, meaning this line will not contribute to the net flux, meaning the original flux will be only due to this. So the flux through this surface will remain unchanged if you keep the charge here. If you keep the charge here, then you can see it is cutting the surface. But while coming out, it is not coming through this spherical surface. So it is coming through this surface, I know. But but the question was through the hemispherical surface. So through this surface, if you see carefully, these lines are only coming in, but it's not going out. So these lines will produce a negative flux, which means it will change the original flux due to this charge. Okay, students. So originally there was flux due to this charge. These black lines represent the original flux. If you keep the second charge here, then that will not change the original flux, because as many lines will, if you draw more lines like this, as many lines will come in, that many will go out. So as many, if 3 lines come in, 3 lines go out. Understood or not? Yes or no? So putting this charge at A will not change the flux through the hemisphere. But if you put charge here, then these lines are only entering, it is not leaving the surface. This surface is the surface in the question was this hemisphere. So these lines are only entering, but it is not coming out of this surface. So if you put the charge here, then the flux will change. So correct answer is A. If you keep, the flux will not change. Same thing you can say for C also. Repeat the same argument. Whatever I told for A, you can do for C also. If you have a charge here, then if the lines are entering, then it will also leave. So this entering will create negative flux, while leaving it will create positive flux, so that too will cancel. So the only flux will be due to this charge if you keep the second charge here. But if you keep the second charge here, then again the lines will enter without leaving this surface. While leaving, it will not cut this surface. It will only cut while entering. Understood or not? So putting the charge at D and B, the flux will change. Keeping the charge at A and C, the flux will not change. Okay. Let's see question number 2 now. The electric field in a region is given by a vector. So this question is similar to one of the question which I have done. So you please try yourself. Question number 2. Correct option is option B. Okay. You have to use here E bar flux formula you use here. E bar dot A bar. Okay. Because they have given you electric field in the form of X, Y and Z components. Okay. And area they have kept along XY plane. Okay, so if you keep the area along XY plane, this is your X, this is your Y, this is your Z. So if your area is in this plane, area vector will be how much? It will be in what direction? Perpendicular to the plane, matlab along Z axis. So it will be magnitude is 100, unit vector will be K cap. So this is the area vector. You take dot product of this area vector with electric field vector. Already I have taught you, so please check yourself. Correct option is B. So let us now see question number 3. A square sheet of side 10 cm is placed in a uniform electric field 20 Newton per coulomb. So electric field is 20 Newton per coulomb. There is a square sheet and the side of the sheet is given 10 cm. With its normal making an angle of 60 degree with the field. So, so if this is the electric field, it is uniform because it is given as a number, no? So it is uniform. The sheet is kept in such a way that if this mobile is the sheet, they are keeping it in such a way that the area vector, how do you draw area vector? Normal to the surface. This area vector makes an angle of 60 degree with the electric field. sorry, the area vector makes an angle of 60 degree with the electric field. So they want you to calculate the flux through this surface. Okay, so since this is a plane surface, we can use the definition of electric flux, which is EA cos theta. So this formula is used when the field is uniform and the area is plane surface. Electric field is given how much? 20. Area, since it is a square, what will be the area? Side square. Side is 10 centimeter means 0.1. So 0.1 square into cos of 6. Theta is what? Angle between area vector and electric field vector, which is directly 60 degree. So this will be 20 into this 0.1 square means 10 to the power minus 2. Cos 60 is half. So this is 10. So answer is 0.1. Unit will be, this is Newton per coulomb, and this area is meter square. So which is the right option? Option A. Okay. Also notice students that sometimes they will say the surface makes an angle of 60 degree with the electric field. If the surface, if this is the surface, if the surface makes 60 degree, area vector will be 30 degree. So be very careful with this. Okay. In this question, no problem. They told the normal to the surface. So if this is the surface, normal area vector makes 60 degree, they told. So no problem. Directly we can use 60 degree. But sometimes they will say this is the surface and the surface makes 60 degree. So if the surface makes an angle of 60 degree, how to show you properly? This is the surface. This is the electric field. So if this angle, okay, I wish I had more hands. Okay. So if this angle, let me try to show you. Yeah. So if this angle is 60 degree, if they say, then area vector will be here. No. So area vector will make what angle? 30 degree. So here you should not use 60 degree. You should use 30 degree because this is angle between area vector and electric field, not surface and electric field. So be careful. Question number 4, you see. Now we will do question number 4. So in question number 4, there is an electric field which is given as E naught I cap. E naught is a constant they are saying. I cap means it is along your x-axis here. Okay, and they want you to calculate flux through this area. Now this area, though it is a plane area, it is not kept on the YZ plane. This they are treating X, this they are saying Y, this they are saying Z. So the plane is not like this. The plane is not like this. The plane is not like this. It is kept like this. So this point is in your Z and X plane, right? This line will be your in which plane? Look carefully. So this area is kept like this. Okay. So this is your Z and this is your x-axis. So this point is in your xz plane. Since it is in xz plane, since this is in xz plane, this point will not have y coordinate. That's why this is 0. This is on which axis? This point is on y axis. So x coordinate and z coordinate should be 0. Right? You can see. Okay. And this point is in your space. Okay. It is somewhere here. So it will have x also, y also, z also. So all the points it has coordinates. Now how to find the flux through this? Since it is plane surface, we can use EA cos theta. E magnitude we know. Let us now see area magnitude. So area vector magnitude means simply the area. What is the area of this? It's a rectangle. Only thing is they have kept this way. No, they have kept this way. But this area will be still rectangle. So this length will be how much? This is 0, this is A. So length will be A. What will be this length? So to find this length, you can use a distance formula, root over A minus 0 whole square plus 0 minus 0 whole square, 0, A minus 0 whole square. This is called your distance formula. Right? If you know the coordinates of 2 points, if you know the coordinates of 2 points, which are the ends of the line, then you can find the distance of that line, length of that line. So this will give you root of a square plus a square root 2 a square, which is root 2 a. So this length we know, this breadth we know. So area will be length into breadth. So area will be root 2a into a. So area is root 2a square. Now once we know the area, you can see, okay, you can see this angle. The angle it makes, this plane makes with this axis, okay. So this angle will be how much? 45 degree. Why it will be 45 degree? Think carefully. See, it is kept this way, right? Yes or no? So this is a, this is also a. Now this means z coordinate, right? And this means your which coordinate? X coordinate. This is x coordinate. This is x axis right here. So this is a. This is also a. So if opposite side is a, adjacent side is also a, then that angle will be 45 degree, right? See, from the side if you see, if this is your x and this is your z, then this line will look like this. Okay, you can see this is which coordinate? X coordinate. No, that is a. So this x coordinate is a. What is your this a? Z coordinate. Z coordinate means this. So this is also a. So if both are a, this will be 45 degree. Understood? So the plane, this line, which is this line, which, right? So this line makes an angle of 45 degree with x-axis. Where is electric field? Along x-axis only. So if the plane makes an angle of 45 degree with x-axis, area vector will make what angle? Area vector will also make 45 degree. Just before I told you, if the surface makes an angle of 60 degree with electric field, area vector will make 30 degree. But here the plane makes an angle of 45 degree with x-axis. 45 degree. So area vector will also make 45 degree. So 45 degree, right? So once we know angle is 45 degree, area value we know, E value we know, flux will be, what is the formula? EA cos theta. So E magnitude is E naught magnitude, okay. Area is root 2a square and theta is 45, so cos 45 is 1 by root 2. So it will be E naught a square. So that is the right answer. Okay, so I hope why this is 45 degree I have tried to show you. So if you see from this side, okay, this will be your x-axis. Okay, so if I see from this side, this will be my x, this will be my y, sorry, this will be my z, and then you can draw this line, and then you can measure what angle this line makes with x-axis easily here. Here it is little difficult to see, but here it is very easy because opposite side and adjacent side both are a. Okay. So in such questions you have to little bit think and carefully find the flux. Let us now see question number 5. So question number 5 says, consider two concentric spheres S1 and S2 enclosing charges 2q and 4q. So there are two concentric spheres in this question number 5. There are two concentric spheres. Okay, this is your S1, this surface is your S2, and here charge 2q is there, here 4q is there. They are asking find the ratio of the electric flux through these two surfaces. So let us find flux through S1. Since it is a concentric sphere, since these two are concentric sphere, a sphere is a closed surface. So we can use Gauss law. So to find flux through this surface, I need to divide charge inside by epsilon naught. What is the charge inside this? 2q. Now you have to find flux through second surface. So while finding flux through this surface, you have to divide charge inside by epsilon naught. Now be careful. Inside this surface, this is also there, this is also there. So both the charges are inside this, no? Don't forget what is Gauss law. It should be the total charge inside the closed surface. So inside this closed surface, this is also there, this is also there. So total charge will be 2q plus 4q by epsilon naught. That will be 6q by epsilon naught. So if you calculate the ratio of the flux through S1 by flux through S2, it will be 2 divided by 6, which will be 1 by 3. Because q by epsilon naught will cancel with q by epsilon naught when you take the ratio. Let's see the next question. So let us now see question number 6. Question number 6, let us see. Careful measurement of electric field at the surface of a black box indicates that the outward flux through the surface of the box. So flux through the box is given to be 8 into 10 to the power 3 Newton per Coulomb meter square. What is the net charge inside the box? Since it is box, it is a closed surface. If it is a closed surface, we can use Gauss law. So flux through a closed surface is equal to charge inside by epsilon naught. They want you to calculate charge inside the surface, which is the box. So charge inside will be flux through the box into epsilon naught. Flux through the box is 8 into 10 power 3. Epsilon naught value is 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12. So this is around 9, no? So approximate calculation I will do, approximate, because this is not board level problem, this is MCQ, no? So we have to do approximation. So this is almost 9, so 9 8s will be almost 72 into 10 to the power minus 12, 3 will be minus 9 Coulomb. Now they want the answer in terms of microcoulomb. So if I write this as micro, this will be 72 into 10 power minus 3 into 10 power minus 6 also I can write. No. So 10 power minus 3 means divide by 1000. So if I divide 72 by 1000, it will be 0.072 into this will be 10 power minus 6 Coulomb will be microcoulomb. So which is the closest answer? 0.07 microcoulomb, option B. Question number 7, let's see. For the figure given below, the electric flux through the surface is maximum in which case? So in which case they are saying the electric flux through the surface is maximum. So if you look at the diagram, question number 7, first diagram looks something like this. Charge inside is Q. Second one looks like this. Charge inside is Q. Third looks like this, charge inside is Q, and fourth looks like this, something like this, charge inside is Q. So through which surface, closed surface, they are saying the flux is maximum. Now already you know it does not depend on the shape of the surface. As long as the surface is closed, the net flux through the closed surface, we can use Gauss law, is equal to how much net flux through closed surface, charge inside by epsilon naught. So flux through this one will be q by epsilon naught. Here also q by epsilon naught. Here also q by epsilon naught. Here also q by epsilon naught. The shape doesn't matter as long as it is closed. So again the answer will be is same for all the figures, option D. Question number 8 is very interesting. Okay, so mark question number 8. So in question number 8 they are saying the electric field in a region is given by, so look carefully, question number 8, electric field is given to be E naught x by B I cap. This E naught and B are constants, but x means it is the x coordinate, so it is a variable. Find the charge contained in a cubical volume bounded by the surface x equal to 0, x equal to a, y equal to 0, y equal to a, z equal to 0, z equal to a. Take the value of E naught. So this E naught they have given 5 into 10 power 3 and B value they have given 2 centimeter, which we have to convert in meter. This is in Newton per Coulomb. and A is given 1 centimeter. So they want you to calculate flux through a cube which is bounded by, cube will be bounded by how many surfaces? Plane, 6 plane surfaces, no, 6 surfaces. So the first surface is x equal to 0. So x equal to 0 means this surface. Okay, so this will be your xy plane. Second surface is x equal to a, here they are saying. So this will be your second surface. So this is your second surface. So this coordinate is x equals to a. Okay, then this surface will be your, this surface will be your y equal to 0 because it is on xz plane. This surface will be your y equal to a. This surface will be the back surface, this one, this surface, that will be your xy plane. This is on xy plane, so z coordinate will be 0. No, if all the points are here, then what is the z coordinate? 0. So that plane will have z0 and this plane will have z equals to a. So we know that this is x equals to a, here x is equal to 0, here x is equals to a. Similarly, here your z is equals to a and here your y is equals to a. Basically the side of the cube is a. Now electric field is going in what direction? Electric field, though it is changing with x because it depends on x, the direction is constant where it is along I cap. I cap means where it is positive x axis. So electric field is like this. Okay. Now listen carefully. This is not a constant electric field. Okay. It is changing with x. So for, you can see that this surface, if you look carefully, for that surface area vector will be here outward. Electric field is also here. So area vector will be like this. For the this surface, area vector, how do you draw? Outward, no? Outward. Electric field is here. So for this surface and this surface, theta here is 0 for this surface, and for this surface theta is 180. Understood all of you? So here area vector is perpendicular to the surface outward, and here area vector is perpendicular to the surface outward of this volume, outward. Electric field is, they said, along x-axis. So for this surface and this surface, okay, if I call this surface S1 and this surface S2, this back surface S2, then for surface S1 angle is theta 0 degree. For this surface angle is 180. What is this angle? Angle between area vector and electric field. Why I am not worried about other faces? Because other faces area vector will be here. Electric field is along x, so angle will be 90 degrees, so that surfaces will not result in flux. So the total flux through the cube, total flux through the cube will be flux through S1 plus flux through S2. S1 means this surface, S2 means this surface. Okay. Now, since it is a plane surface, electric field here, oh, sorry, since this is a plane surface, electric flux here I can write E, electric field here E, A cos theta. But electric field here and here, will it be same? No, because here for this surface x coordinate is 0. For this surface x coordinate is A, and electric field depends on x, they have told. So I should write this is electric field. Let me write properly. So we have electric field at x equals to A. And here electric field at x equals to 0, A cos theta. So that is the formula. Okay, students? Okay. This is x equals to A. Now what will be electric field? This is flux through which surface again? This is flux through S1. S1 is this surface. And for this surface, what is the x coordinate? A, they told. Because it is, this cube is made up of this surface, this surface, this surface, this surface, this surface, this surface. This surface is x equal to 0. This surface is at a distance of x equals to A. Okay, fine. So this is here electric field, we have to use whatever is the value of electric field at x equals to A, which is this much. So it will be E naught x equals to A divided by B into A cos of, what is the angle for S1? For this surface, the angle was 0 degree between electric field and area vector. What is electric field at x equal to 0 for this surface? Well, if x is 0, electric field will be 0. So if this is 0, you multiply with this, it will become 0, right? So it doesn't matter. So this part will be 0 because this itself will be 0 at x equal to 0 for this surface. Understanding or not? Okay. So this will be the electric flux through the cube. Understand one thing. What if the electric field was constant? Suppose this x was not there. Then here also I will write, E naught by B. Here also it will be E naught by B, constant. And here theta is 0, here theta was 180. So cos 180 is minus. So this and this will cancel. So total flux would have been 0. But here it will not be 0 because according to question, this electric field depends on x. And this surface are not at same x coordinate. This surface is at x equal to 0. This surface is at x equals to A. Meaning electric field here you have to find by putting x equal to 0. Electric field here on this surface you have to find by putting x equals to A, like I have done. So you can now calculate the numerical value of this total flux. Let me do it this side. So what will be the numerical value? E naught was given to be 5 into 10 to the power 3. Right? Small a is 1 centimeter. Let me not convert meter because this is also centimeter and B is also centimeter. So centimeter will cancel, right? So this A will be 1 centimeter divided by B. Sorry, A is 1 centimeter, B is 2 centimeter. So B is 2 centimeter into area. Let me calculate the area of this face. Area will be side square. So side square means I have to write what is the side of this surface. That is your A, no? A. This is your A, right? And that is A square. What was A given to us? A was given 1 centimeter. So it will be 10 power minus 2 meter whole square. So area is 10 power minus 4. Okay, students. So area is 10 power minus 4 meter square. So finally, if I write the total flux, it will be, here I did not convert into meter because this will cancel. No, so even if you write in meter, it will cancel. What is the use? So this will be 5 into 10 power 3 divided by 2 into area. What is the area? 10 power minus 4. So this will be 5 divided by 2 will be 2.5 into 10 power minus 1, which is 0.25. So that is the electric flux through the cube. The question was to find what is the charge inside contained in the cube. So once we know the total flux through the cube, we can find charge inside the cube by using Gauss law. So charge inside will be equal to flux through the cube into epsilon naught. Flux through the cube, how much we got? 0.25. No, so I can add 25 by 100 into epsilon naught is 8.85 into 10 power minus 12. So this, if you simplify, you will get 2.2 into 10 power minus 12. Okay, so you can try to do this part yourself. Okay, so 25 by 100 will come 1 by 4. Na? 25 by 100 will come 1 by 4. So if you cancel 8.85 by 4, you will get 2.2 something. Understood, no? Okay, so this ratio will be 1 by 4. Then 8.8 approximately, if you take divide by 4, you will get 2.2. So option A is the correct answer. So I hope all of you understood this concept. Okay. So if you want me to revise this problem quickly, then first you understand that the x-axis was here, y-axis was here, and z-axis was here. They told there is a cube here. Now, how to draw the cube? You have to read the question. They said the cube is bounded by six faces. Each face they are given. One face is x equal to 0. So x equal to 0 means this point, no? So it is a plane. So you have to draw it here only. No, where will you draw? So all these points will have x equal to 0. Then second surface is x equal to a. Where will you draw? Here. X equal to here. Here you have to draw. Understood or not? Then other one will be y equal to a, y equal to 0. Then z equal to 0, z equals to a. Basically, this is x equal to 0, this is x equal to a. An electric field they told is this way. So for this surface, area vector will be here, electric field is here, angle is 0 degree. But for this surface, area vector we always draw outward, perpendicular, but we draw outward. If it is a closed volume, closed surface, area vector we always draw outward. So electric field is along x-axis, so here angle will be 180. But here your x was 0 for this surface. And since electric field was given to be E naught x by B, since every point here x is 0, if x is 0 means electric field everywhere here is 0. So this part had no flux. So flux through second surface was 0. But here for every point, what is x? X is A. So just put x A, you will get electric field for this surface. Electric field for this surface you will get by putting x equals to A. That is what I have done here. So formula for flux is, students, EA cos theta. But you have to see which E to use according to the question.